Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth, and fancy seeing you here in June. I'm very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. If you're feeling charitable, smash that subscribe button, smash that like button, and follow me over on Twitter at MoviesTVMag for all the up-to-date commentary and retweets on the breaking entertainment news. And welcome to this emergency news flashy dceu extra, because the Wrap are reporting Warner Brothers debates whether Wonder Woman 1984 should skip theatres for streaming. Exclusive. Now, there's more to this, but we're going to read this article. With movie theatres closed across the globe for an indefinite period of time, Warner Brothers is discussing whether to take its upcoming DC Comics tentpole Wonder Woman 1984 directly to streaming and bypass theatres altogether. Two knowledgeable individuals told The Wrap. The discussions are still preliminary and have remained close to Warner Pictures Group Chairman Toby Emmerich and his top advisors. According to one individual with knowledge of the conversation, even director Patty Jenkins and producer Charles Roven have not been brought into the talks. This is interesting with what I'm going to tell you after this article. According to the Warner's insiders, the preference is still to release the movie theatrically, but executives are considering a streaming alternative, probably as direct-to-consumer offering rather than as part of Warner's soon-to-launch subscription service HBO Max. The concern that insiders said that there is no known date for movie theatres to reopen, and there may be a shortage of favourable dates once theatres do come back online for many films that have been postponed. Wonder Woman 84 is still officially slated for wide release on June the 4th, and it could potentially still make that date, by the way. Roven and Jenkins would like to see the movie hit theatres in August, wouldn't we all? One insider said, but with so much uncertainty, Warner executives, if that is a realistic possibility, and a pandemic that has upended Hollywood and threatens to have long-term repercussions for the industry. Still, the insider said there are not yet financial models that would allow the studio to compare the outcome to distribution systems for a film, with a budget that multiple other insiders told The Wrap is just short of $200 million. The studio would not confirm the budget. Warner President Domestic Distribution Jeff Goldstein told The Wrap that there have not been any streaming discussions. We're looking to release the movie theatrically. That's our plan, he said. An individual close to the film confirmed that Jenkins has had no discussions with the studio about a streaming option. Roven also dismissed the idea of streaming only release. Right, this is what I'm coming to. It's ludicrous if you consider how big a movie this is, he said in an interview. Everybody recognises that as interesting as streaming might be, if you want a huge global worldwide box office, you've got to release it in a movie theatre. I will explain in a minute how this is a load of nonsense and what Roven's actually saying. Indeed, analysts like LightShed's Rich Greenfield have questioned whether video on demand could generate the kind of revenue and profits that studios typically see from the theatrical release of blockbusters like a Wonder Woman sequel. Patty Jenkins' 2017 original grossed $822 million, based on a budget between $120 million and $150 million. The discussion at Warner to consider streaming follows Universal's decision last week to distribute Trolls World Tour directly over the top platforms for a 48-hour rental fee in $19.99. That decision came amid the spread of the coronavirus panic, but while most US theatres were still open and was initially intended as a day and date release time, with its opening in theatres. In the days since that decision, theatre chains across the country have closed for an indefinite period because of the public health risk. The Universal move has already raised questions about the ability of theatre chains to maintain the sanctity of traditional home release windows in the face of rising streaming houses. Universal is also planning early VOD releases for 3 films that were in theatres when they closed: The Hunt, Invisible Man and Emma. A number of others have followed suit for films just in theatres, including Warner's Birds of Prey and The Way Back, Sony's Bloodshot, Disney's Onward and Lionsgate, I still believe. But Wonder Woman is another order of magnitude, given that 2017's Wonder Woman was the highest grossing film by a solo female director and was the 10th highest grossing film of the year. Based on the success of the first film, as well as the other recent solo endeavours, The DC Universe Wonder Woman 1984 was expected to be a big summer blockbuster, and hope was that it would hit $1 billion, a global revenue. By comparison, Aquaman took $1.15 billion based on a $160 million budget, and Shazam earned $366 million on a $100 million budget. But the math of video-on-demand only release could be challenging if the film skips theatrical release. Warner Bros. Would have to hit tens of millions of streaming purchases to make the move financially worthwhile. Recent analysis by Greenfield showed that $1 billion grossing film normally produced $375 million in profit. But let's start again. That $1 billion grossing film normally produces $375 million in profit. That's bullshit. But traditional VOD could not generate that type of revenue. These numbers are so wrong. According to Greenfield, replacing theatrical gross profit would require 16 to 21 million downloaded units sold for a $1 billion movie, assuming a charge of 30 to 40 per film rental. He noted that the most profitable PPV in the US history was the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight in 2015, which grossed $400 million from 4.4 million buys, charged at $90 per buy. It's hard to imagine moviegoers even paying 30 to 40 for a new release every month, so home video wouldn't even come close to the fight's revenue. You don't know that. You don't know that. Wonder Woman has developed into an incredible successful franchise for Warner and catapulted Gadot to international stardom, not to mention a symbol of feminine heroism set during the late height of the Cold War. Tensions. The sequel sees Diana Prince, Gal Gadot, come into a conflict with the Soviet Union and encountering a new enemy, the villain Cheetah, Kristen Wiig. The film brings back Jenkins as director and co-write along with Chris Pine as director and co-write, along with Chris Pine as Steve Trevor. Pedro Pascal has also been cast in the film. The individual with knowledge of the studio said that Warner has also considered sending last year's DC Comics film Joker to streaming platforms rather than theatres after an initial public outcry against the violent themes of Todd Phillips' film. That went on to gross $1 billion worldwide and earned Oscars for lead actor Joaquin Phoenix and Hilda Guimonto's score. Rowan said a decision about moving Wonder Woman 84 would wait as long as possible, which is wise. There may come a time we have to make that decision, but why not stay here as long as we can? That's wise, and hope for the best, he asked. I don't think it would be prudent to make a move until all factors have been taken into consideration. Humberto Gonzalez contributed to this report. That's no surprise. Right, first of all, there's obviously discussions on what they're going to do. Do I think they're panicking now? No, because this film's not out in till June. And as Rowan said himself, there's no reason in making kind of a reactive decision. So for now, there's nothing to worry about. Now, I'm on Twitter, as I've just told you, a lot. And all I've been seeing is, no, we'd rather see it in cinemas. We'd rather see it in theatres. That's it. We want to see it in theatres. Listen, there's a pandemic on the loose. We don't know if theatres are going to be closed for 1 year. If theatres are closed for over a year, they will have absolutely no choice but to release it on demand. And I'm going to give you the maths, not directly, but I will tell you, right? Of course, video on demand is very profitable after theatre release, but they don't have a choice. They're going to lose money here, right? Or are they? Are they? Let's look at this, right? So let's just say they can't release when they want. And let's say, I think, excuse my throat, but I think what they'll do is, if they can't release in June, they will kind of try and go for the end of the year, the Christmas market, like the Bond movie, No Time to Die did. Now, I believe if this goes on and on, obviously they'll have to make a decision, right? Because they know this film can, as we already know, can garner about $1 billion, right, in theatres. So they have to make a decision and they have to work out the math. So let's just say, right, they can allow Amazon Prime and Prime Video and other places, other streaming platforms to rent it. I think $15 to $20 or $25 or whatever it is around the world, right? There's going to be so much more interest in people paying for this, even if it's boxing on demand numbers, because you want to see this film. This is the biggest film of the year, make no mistake, and people will pay. Like they say in the movie Field of Dreams, people will come. This film can make the money on rentals. And you know what's clever here? It can make the money on streaming rentals. And then afterwards, a few months later, when it's available to buy, you're going to make all the money again. But the same people that would have gone to see this film in the theatres will pay 20, 30, 40, whatever dollars to see this film. This film can make the money. Don't listen to that. They've got the maths wrong. They're being negative on purpose. As all journalists, they come from a certain angle. So Wonder Woman 1984 can still make its profit on demand. But ultimately, they don't want to do that. Of course they don't want to do that. And I'm quite certain this film, if it can't release in June, they absolutely won't put it on demand straight away. They'll try and find another date. Maybe this time next year, maybe at the end of the year. Of course they'll look to do that. So do I believe this bullshit from the rap that has been rapped from the discussions about going on demand? No. The films we've seen on demand have mainly been films that have just come out the cinemas, just finishing their runs, or little movies that no one gives a shit about. Let's be honest, this is Wonder Woman 1984, the biggest film of the year. Of course it will be postponed if they can't release in June, and they will find another date. But what I'm saying to you is, if we go on and we can't release it in cinemas, of course it's going to go on demand, and it can still make the money. This is the future, my friends. I don't care. I don't care about cinema houses and theatres. That's in the past now, right? That's in the past, and this is the future, right? This was supposed to be a really short news, flashy, quick news video, but it's gone on a bit because I had a lot to say about this. But in tomorrow's dceu Daily, we will continue the conversation. So comment down below, like, share and subscribe, and we can continue the conversation over on Twitter. See you again tomorrow for the dceu Daily. Back soon.